All right. Should be here. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh, let me take that one off. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night, whatever time zone you are on, we are live. Hello, everybody. I do not have my chat pulled up. This is going to be a really quick live. I just got finished shoveling, so this is my after shovel look. Hopefully, everybody's been doing the best that they can in the situation that they are in. Now, let's get to this information. Number one, I want to say it is always beneficial to look at international news if you want a realistic perspective and a more balanced perspective. I look at Moscow news, which is Russia. I look at China news. I look at European Union news. You got Australia, which is, Australia, France, other countries, other nations, Brazil. I look at a host, India. I look at a host of other news channels, Israel. So if you want a balanced and a fair perspective of what's going on in the country, you have to look at other news and look at the way that they're reporting the news, which is different from the way traditional news media, which has always been biased from my perspective, and I got facts to prove it up, has presented information, right? Because over here, it's always been control the message, control the masses, control the mind, control the message, control the masses, control the mind. And so, news presented here unjustly, unbalanced, does not present international news and what they feel or think about what's going on here or the way they will deal with America as a nation. Okay. So, having said that, the title is Other Nations Outmaneuvering the US. One such reason is BRICS, and that's China getting other nations, networking with other nations to get on the yin, right? So you see France drop the US dollar. Some countries in Africa drop the US dollar. Iran, who the US helped, dropped the US dollar. You see all these nations dropping the US digital currency, right? And people over here in America still pontificating with their heads in the cloud, in the sand, being delusional about what the future is going to look like and hold for the US. Well, let's go here. It's my little back to. And again, hello to everyone that's in the chat. I do not have the chat pulled up. I do not have the chat pulled up. So let me go to the share and make sure I can still paste that there. Yeah, here we go. How China reduces reliance on US farm exports, softening trade wars risk. Beijing, November 13th. And this is Reuters. This information is also on Statistia.com and usgov.com. Now, since the US and China imposed its tit for tat tariffs, which is a tax, and their trade war during Don the Khan's first presidential term, Beijing had been taking steps to reduce its reliance on American farm goods in a wider effort to bolster its food security. That had put China in a better position to withstand tariffs of at least 60% on China imports threatened by Don the Khan. Set to return to the White House in January, raising the prospect of Chinese retaliation again targeted at the U.S. agriculture goods. Okay, during Don the Khan's first term, he slapped duties of 370 billion worth of Chinese goods. Beijing retaliated with its own tariffs of up to 25% on over 100 billion worth of U.S. products targeting soybeans, beef, pork, wheat, corn, and sorghum. That impacts the rural area, the farmers. And if you voted for them, I don't care if you suffer. It is what it is. You voted against your own best interests. And you should have learned from the first time. So, because you refused to pay attention, I need you to sit the child in you on down and stop playing. In the years since then, the share of China's soybean imports from the US, the top American export to China, has dropped 18%. In 2024, 40%. In 2016. So 18% in 2024 from 40% in 2016, according to Chinese customs data. As China has turned instead to imports from Brazil, which also has replaced US as China's top corn supply. China agriculture imports from the US declined to 34 billion in 2013 from 43 billion in 2022 and are expected to drop further. Following the details of China's efforts since the trade war with the U.S. to diversify agriculture supply sources and boost local production and bolster food security, August 15, 2019, China halts purchase of U.S. agriculture products, in retaliation against tariffs imposed by Don the Khan administration. January 2020, Don the Khan in China, then Vice President Premier Liu, signed a phase one trade agreement where China agrees to raise purchases from American goods by 200 billion over 2 years, including 32 billion in agriculture products. 2021, China launches commercial trial planting for genetically modified corn and soybeans. April 29, 2021, China adopts anti-food waste law to prevent grain waste and bans binge eating videos and excessive leftovers. So they have a law that targets the waste of food. And they also enacted a law that bans wasteful, those watch me eat videos, that's banned. February 1st, 2022, U.S. trade official says China failed to meet its commitments under phase one, trade deal that expired. And at the end of 2021, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack tells lawmakers that China purchases from U.S. farm goods fell short by $13 billion. February 4th, 2022, China allows imports of wheat and barley from all regions of Russia, the world's biggest wheat exporter. March 7, 2022, President Beijing tells political advisors China must rely on self-reliance and feed itself. We cannot hold our own rice bowls. We can't hold our own rice bowls. We will be controlled by others. Food security is a strategic issue. So he's saying if they can't hold their own rice bowls, they'll be controlled by other nations. And there comes their swiftness to fast track genetically modified food. May 2025, 2022, China allows imports from Brazil corn. June 29, 2022, China passes a soil conservation law to protect crop yields. And breadbasket providence of Heilong Jing Jiang, however you're pronouncing this, Long Jing Jiang. No disrespect to them on pronouncing their words. In a Mongolia, where decades of rapid industrialization and overuse of pesticides degraded soil and curbed yields.